Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing tonight? I was gonna add a hello. I was gonna say hello, 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 hello. It is 1:53 a.m. and I am exhausted. And I was just laying in bed talking to Alex. He was going through showing me pictures from Zubilation that he went to last night. So Alex last night got to go to, on Friday night, he went to Zubilation, and which is like this fundraiser for the zoo in Indianapolis, and he was on the street team. So there was like 3 social media influencers. One was for fashion, one was for food, and one was for entertainment. And he was the entertainment street team. What that meant was that they got to do all this like social media stuff and come up with hashtags and all this stuff. And he was really excited about it. He's gone and volunteered like the last 2 years, but like he had to work while he was there. So my head is killing me. I need to take some leave. But he this year he got to just go, and I couldn't go. So because he got to like just go and hang out and be a guest because he was on the street team. So he took Sarah and they had a blast. And so he was showing me pictures. Alex and I have really we've seen each other a little bit late at night. We're kind of caught up, but this week has been crazy. And I haven't really talked a whole lot about why it's been crazy. And the reason why is because I wasn't really supposed to be talking about it until tonight because we were kind of sequestered a little bit. So I'm excited that I finally get to talk about it because it was an opportunity that was amazing for me. I was one of the judges for Miss Indiana this week, and it was all week long, which was why I was more tired than usual because it started at 8 a.m. every morning and went to 11 o'clock, about 11 o'clock. Some nights we got done early, I can't remember, but. And then tonight was the last night. Tonight was the finals last night. So there's 3 nights of prelims. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was the prelims, and then tonight was the final night. And Alex actually came tonight and brought his friend, this girl that we're friends with, and then his mom and his grandma. I got them 4 tickets so that they could come tonight. And it was packed. And so Alex and I each kind of had our things going on this week. And so we were just talking about how like we're gonna make this week like romantic central, date central, starting with brunch tomorrow and sleeping in and spending time together. And but it's been really, really fun. And so there were 2 teams because there was the Miss side, which are like the 18 and up girls, and then there was the outstanding teen. And so each side had 5 judges. And so I judged for the outstanding teen. And our group of judges, I got really upset, you guys, on the way home tonight. I started crying. I got like really, really emotional. I was just telling Alex about this. I think I didn't really realize like how I just don't interact with a lot of people until this was all over. So, if you've watched my vlogs, you know that I love beauty pageants and scholarship pageants, whatever you want to call them. I've been kind of obsessed with them for a long time, like ever since I was a little kid. My mom and I used to watch all of the pageants, and we would like, you know, score them and rate them and stuff. And it's always been my dream to like be involved, you know, like in working in pageant systems and things like that. And so Alex and I have got to do a lot of the mock interviews for when the girls go to the national pageants that you see like on TV. So we get to sit in a room and just fire questions at these girls because we know a lot of people that work in pageants, and so we've been asked to do that like a lot of years. Usually every other year we get asked to do it. They try to get some different people. So every year I've always said, like, if you need somebody to judge, blah, 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 and I had no clue really how to get into it. So this year I got, a couple months ago, the director who we're friends with, she reached out to me and she was like, are you serious about wanting to judge? And she's like, it's a huge commitment, like it's a lot of time. And I was like, yeah, like it can't be that much time. I had no idea. Like, I literally had no idea how much time it was and how serious it is and what a serious commitment it was. And, so just to put this in perspective for you, like Wednesday, I think I had to be there at 8 o'clock at the hotel. And so my team was 5 people. 4 of us were from Indianapolis and 1 was from New York. And we like immediately clicked, like all 5 of us. Like, I'm talking about group texts, inside jokes, everything. Like, literally just howling, laughing, having such a great time this whole week. It has been so good for me. It has been such a good thing for me to do and to get out of myself and meet some new people. And, you know, I'm socially awkward and shy anyway. And I just had such a good time. I just had such a good time, you know, and I think what I realized is that I like, you know, if there's a learning experience to take from it, I need to get more involved in stuff. I need to have more stuff going on in my life because I just don't see a lot of people. I'm by myself pretty much all day long except for with the dogs, you know, and Tanya and Alex. And so like Wednesday we started at 8 and we did the interviews all day long until like 8 to 1. Was it like 8 to 1? And then I feel like we started earlier, maybe at 7:30 to 12 maybe is what we did. And then we went to lunch. And so we would, every day we would like, wherever we went, oh, it's like not, it's auto-focusing. I hate when it does that. It won't focus. Okay, hold on a second. The only thing I know to do when it does that is turn it off and start it again, because that's the only thing that fixes it. So Wednesday we did that, and then we went to lunch, and then we came back from lunch to the hotel because we had to drive everywhere together as a van. Like, they made us drive everywhere together, and like we weren't allowed to talk to parents about it. You're not allowed to talk to any of the contestants. You're not allowed to talk to the other judges. Like, we were not allowed to talk to each other about the contestants ever. And that's why I just was like, until it's all over, I'm not even gonna get on vlog and talk about it at all. So we went to lunch, and then we went home and changed. Now, mind you, in between all of this, I've been filming videos, okay, for my Peter Monn channel. So that's why I haven't had a lot of videos up. One day, it may have been, well, Wednesday was all day. Oh, no. What did we do? We had something else in the afternoon. We ended up coming back. Oh, we had to go over the preliminary scoring of how that was gonna go, and so we came back, and that took another like hour and a half. So we got released at 3, but we had to be back at 4:30. And so we were supposed to just bring our clothes and change there at the hotel, and then we were going to the because it was at this like high school performing arts center. And I was like, so she was like, well, since like 3 of us lived really close to where the hotel was, she was like, if you guys want to go home and change and come back. And so I was like, well, I can let the dogs out. So I went home. That was Wednesday. I have my videos pre-filmed for Wednesday, so I just like put those up on Wednesday. And then came back to the hotel. Then we drove to dinner, and then we ate dinner, all of us, the Miss judges and the Miss Outstanding Teen judges. We all of us would eat dinner together, and then like the pageant directors and stuff like that. And so this is for the Miss America pageant system. I mean, this is a big deal. It was fun. It was so much fun. And then that night we went and did preliminaries, and we had to be there at 6:30, and it started at 7, and we got done at like 10:30, and then we drove back to the hotel, and then we all left, and we had to be back on Thursday at 8 a.m. But it wasn't the same. Like, we came back, and then we were like there till like 1, and then we had a break, and then we had to be back at 4:30. No, we had to be back at 4, and then dinner, and then was like a huge piece of metal or something in the road. And then we came back and did preliminaries that night. That was Thursday. And then Friday, we didn't have anything in the morning. I went and got my hair cut. And then we had to be at the hotel at like 3:45, I think. And then we went and did dinner, and then we were at the school. I think we were there earlier that night. That was last night, because it went long, because they had all of like the little girl princesses come out that are like, you know, like really little kids. It was so sweet. It was so sweet. And so like they had more time, and they did like a lot of performances on stage from like the two that were going out, that were leaving. Like this was their, like last year was their reign. And then today, and I vlogged, so I would get done, and then I would come home, and I would go vlog, and listen to my audiobook. So I've literally this week, every night, I've gotten like 4.5 hours of sleep, if I'm lucky. Today, I laid down and took a 20-minute nap before I got changed. You'd be very proud of me. I wore a suit every day, and looked very nice, and so today, I had to be at the hotel at 8 o'clock, and we went over composite scoring, and then we were given our top 10 girls and People's Choice, and then we had to go through and have like, you do this like discussion where you each give two positives and 2 critiques, but you can't like disagree or agree with like anybody else. Like you just go around the room and say it. And, you can say, like, I agree with everything that they've said, but that's, like, all you can say. And that was, we were supposed to do a parade, but the parade got rained out today. I was really sad about that. I kind of wanted to be in a parade. I still have my lawn chairs in the back. And, so then we went to go eat lunch today. And, that was really fun. And then we came back from lunch, and we got back at like 1:30, and then we had to be back at the hotel. So like the van takes us everywhere from like the hotel to like all these different places. So imagine like the 5 of us, and then the woman that was in charge of us, that was just as hilarious. She was so much fun. She had been a judge before, and I already knew her. And because I had done like mock interviews with her, and she was hilarious, and she was so good to us. Like every night at the judges, like, so we were in the orchestra pit. Okay, so imagine this huge stage, and then there's like, you know, the stage has like this like runway that comes out, and on to the left are the Miss Indiana judges, and to the right are the Miss Teen judges. And so we're sitting in a row, and of course we're the most chatty patty judges, and we're sitting out there eating M&Ms. It was so much fun, you guys. It was so much fun. And you know, the contestants were just, they were just so neat. They just were so neat, you know, and the majority of them, I would say like 90% of them, just academically, just so well-rounded, off-the-chart grades, very wholesome. Their talent was incredible. You know, it just was really, it was a really neat experience. And it's a scholarship program, so they win scholarships. And like the Miss side, they have to all be in college, so they get all college scholarships. And the teens, like the winner, gets some like ridiculous scholarship to the University of Alabama, and I think it's like $10,000 or $30,000. It's like a lot of money. And so yeah, so then today we did that. We did the composite scoring, the top 10, and then we went to go have lunch, and we came back, and then we had to be back, and it was formal wear, so I had to wear a black tie, black suit. One of the guys, so it was me and another guy, and he's like 10 years older than me, and then 3 women. And one of the woman that sat next to me, she and I are the same exact age. I think she's a year younger than me. And then one of the girls is Alex's age. And so each of us knew a lot about one area, if that makes sense. And that's why we were picked. So it was like a really diverse like judging panel. Like one was like really knew a lot about dance, one knew a lot about like choral, like, you know, and band and stuff like that, and one knew about academics, and I was the pop culture person. So I was like pop culture, current events kind of thing. And so anyway, it just was fun. It was such a blast. And then afterwards tonight, so we weren't allowed to talk about any of the contestants between ourselves, like at all, like literally at all. And like the woman that was in charge of it, okay, so it was all of us and then this woman that was in charge of us, and then she had like assistant that had like worked in the pageant system for like 30 years, so she always rode with us too. So it was all of us, and we had such a blast. Oh my god, we had so much fun. And but like if we would even say anything like, what's the contestant from such and such county, they would like stop us immediately. They'd be like, you can't talk about that. And we were really good about it. We really never did. So we were allowed to, like, finally when the pageant was done, we were like all able to get together and talk about the girls and like what we really thought. And so I mean, and not, you know, like we were, these girls, all of them were absolutely incredible. I mean, every single one of them was just incredible, you know? And it just was really a cool experience to see just, I don't know, you know, such outstanding young women. And so it was fun. We went and we got, so on the way back to the hotel, because the person that was in charge of us, she was staying at the hotel all week long, even though she was from Indianapolis. And they had like rented her a van and stuff. So she stopped on the way back and got hot box pizza. And then we went to our hotel room and we all like changed into like our jeans and pajamas and stuff. And we just sat on the floor and we all like we went through and like talked about the girls. And we were like, oh, I really liked her talent. Somebody else would be like, oh, her dress was gorgeous, you know. And it was fun. It was just like, you know, and it was really, because we weren't able to say like, you know, like why we had scored, you know, such and such thing before. And it just was, the whole thing was such a neat experience. And, you know, it's kind of like going to summer camp when you're only there for like a week and you get super close to people. Like, we got super close. Like, we spent so much time together this week. And, like, so much time. And it just was really fun, you know? I don't know, I got like I got real emotional on the way home. I was kind of like, I can't kind of believe it's over, you know? It's like super intense for the whole week. So that's what I've been doing this week. And that's why I'm exhausted. So tonight, as soon as I am done vlogging, I am going home. I'm taking my contacts out. I've already hung up my suit. I've already taken my shoes in, put them in my shoebox, everything like my dress shoes. And I got to wear a little boutonniere tonight and everything, a rose boutonniere. And when I go home tonight, I am going to sleep for like 8 hours. Like, I'm going to sleep. I even went last night. Well, last night I went and got a fountain pop with Tanya because I hadn't seen her and we got off a little bit earlier. Did we get a, I don't know, but I think I picked up Tanya like midnight or something, I don't know. But anyway, I went to Walmart and got an alarm clock because I was afraid that I wasn't going to get up. So, and Alex has been so sweet. The whole week he's been like checking in with me. He's like, are you having fun? I think he was excited that I was doing something different, you know, and that I was having a lot of fun with it, so. But I'll miss them. It was fun. But you know what I mean? Like when you go to summer camp for the week and you meet people and you become really close and it's like you guys are going to like exchange numbers and talk forever. But like as you get older, you kind of know that you don't do those things. You know, it was funny. I got in my car and I was like playing some music and Landslide came on, you know, Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac. And I love that song. Actually, somebody performed that song for the pageant. They like played guitar and sang it. And on the Miss side. And I was thinking about that song, you know, like I've been listening to that song since I was in high school, and I mean, it's about getting older. I don't know, I guess I realized, you know, like, I don't want to get super emotional tonight. I've already gotten super emotional. Like, I mean, like, I was like crying so hard on the way home. I thought, you know, you could have told me somebody that, you'd have thought somebody that I was close with died. But I think it's just like, I have really allowed my social anxiety and my fear of people and my shyness to keep me from participating in life at times, you know? And then I'm 46, 2 weeks away from being 47, and I participate in something like this, and I have so much fun, and I meet people that I just really connect with. You know, it was like this one guy that I worked, like, that was on that panel, like, we're as different as night and day, and he and I were like brothers by the end of the week. And he even said to me, he goes, you know, I know we are so different, but he goes, I have just had such a blast with you this week. I mean, and we had such a good time, you know, and, he's been married for like 32 years. He has like 2 daughters that are like in college, you know. He's like, we are so different. He was like, but I've had so much fun with you today. He gave me a huge hug tonight when we like left. And, you know, it just is like, I have allowed that fear and that social anxiety from stopping me, like, you know, from doing things when people, I mean, I've been asked to do a lot of things in my life, you know, and participate, volunteer, be part of something that I've said no to out of fear alone. Oh, they don't really want me, or I wouldn't be any good at that, or, you know, I'm the one that sabotages myself. You know, when we talk about being your own saboteur, you know, like, that was like an episode of Roseanne. That was like an episode of RuPaul, like, you know, what's your inner saboteur? And it's like true, though. You know, it's like my inner saboteur always tells me, you know, that I'm not good enough and people don't really want me. They don't really like me, you know? And then I get in a situation where, you know, like this whole week, not one person asked me anything about career-wise what I did. Nobody asked me anything about, we just had fun, like, you know, and they liked me for me. It didn't have anything to do with my education or, you know what I mean, like who I knew or what I had done in the past. I mean, which a lot of that stuff as you get older, if you're my age, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like they consider it networking, but it's really just people one-upping each other, which I really hate. But nobody asked. I mean, we all knew what each other did, right? But it was like none of us asked each other about stuff. And some of the people that I was on the, you know, the judging panel with had some, like, they have some pretty serious titles as far as jobs, you know? And like, I don't think they have any kind of clue, like, what my life looks like as far as, like, you know, because I would say, like, well, would, like, everybody be like, oh, I can't wait, I'm going home, I'm going to sleep, and I'm going to get 6 hours of sleep, and they'd be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm going to go vlog. Like, by the end of the week, they knew what it meant, right? But I'm like, well, I'm going to go vlog, and, you know, I might go hang out with my good Judy or whatever, which they're like, they all know the term good Judy now, you know? And they're like, so, like, the first night, they're like, you're vlogging? I'm like, yeah, like, I have this vlog, like, this video channel that I do, or I, like, drive around in a car and I talk. So you driving around in a car and you talk and people want to watch it? I'm like, yeah, some people like to watch it. You know, I just kind of talk. It's like a podcast. And they're like, well, that's cool. So, like, you know, then the next night I'd be like, okay, well, they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm going to go vlog. And they're like, oh, you're going to go vlog. Do you do that? Oh, this one woman said to me, one of my friends, she said, 2 nights ago, she said, do you have to do that every night? I go, well, I don't have to, but I've been doing it for, like, this is my 3rd year. I'm not going to stop now. I haven't missed a night yet, you know? And she started laughing. Anyway, it just was fun, you know? It was nice. Have you ever been around a group of people that like you for you? Like, that period, end of story. And they just think you're funny and fun and nice, and it was fun, it was easy, you know, and I liked them, and, I just kind of wanted to, like, continue to, like, judge for, like, I just didn't want it to end, you know what I mean? Like, I was having such a good time. I don't know why I'm getting emotional about it. I just I'm not involved in anything, you know what I mean? Like, I see my husband and I see Tanya and Valerie, you know, and that's it. And I guess maybe I don't like to really admit it sometimes, but I have a pretty lonely life. I think when you sit on the other side of the camera and you watch my videos, especially like my Peter Monn channel. This girl came up to me tonight. Like 3 of the girls, the contestants, like would walk in the room on Wednesday for an interview, and they would start, and then as they were done, like they would look at me as they were walking out of the room, they go, oh, and by the way, I love your videos. 3 girls. It was nice. But it was kind of funny. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I was supposed to say anything, so I was like, thank you. But this girl came up to me tonight, and she was like stunning, and like this was when everything was done at the end, and I was giving my bag, and Alex had come up, and his mom had come up, and I was introducing Alex and Alex's mom to, so Alex's mom, she was like in Venezuela when she was like 20. She was like a state, like, so like Miss Indiana, she was like Miss that in Venezuela, and then she competed in the Miss Venezuela pageant. So I was standing like there's like, we had like this wood wall or whatever between us and the audience because we were in the orchestra pit, and this girl came up to me and she was like, I told her I'd give her a shout out, but she doesn't watch this channel, so I'll shout her out on my main channel, but her name's Chloe. And she was like, when they announced your name tonight, I about died. I was like, oh my God, I watched all of his videos and I can't believe he's the judge. And she's like, then I looked in the magazine and there you were. And she was like, I couldn't believe it. And she's like, I love all your videos. I watch them. I was like, what channel do you watch? And she was like, Peter Monn. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And then Alex was like, do you want to get a picture with him? And she was like, oh my God, would you get a picture with me? I was like, yeah, sure. It was so sweet. And she was like, well, I competed in Miss, the teen one. She was like, I competed in, Outstanding Teen 3 years ago, and she was like, I was gonna compete, and she was beautiful too. She was like, I was gonna compete, not that that is like, all of it, but the girl that won for us, and she was like all of our, like, she was literally boom boom, she had it all. And I'd like to see where she is in 10 years, because this girl is going places. They're all going places. That was the thing. There was like not one girl that wasn't like, you just looked at them and be like, oh my God. And some of these girls were young too, and you'd be like, these are going to be like Broadway stars and, like college professors. And I don't know, it's just cool to see that much hope in one place. You know what I mean? A hope for a future. I think, in our society, we focus so much on the negativity that's out there, but we don't really see like the true hope that's out there as well, in our youth. And there's a lot of hope out there, a lot of really smart young people out there that really have bright futures ahead of them and have head on their shoulders too, And I think sometimes we just like act like, well, they're young, they don't know, but I mean, some of these young women like just floored me with their responses to questions, things, they would say things I had never even thought of, and very confident and not afraid to stand by their answer, of the things they said. But anyway, so she said that to me. She was real sweet, and that was real fun. So yeah, that's what I've been doing all this week, and I am like absolutely literally exhausted from doing it, you guys. And it was funny because I was talking to my one friend so she and I sat next to each other the whole week, like in the orchestra pit, and we were like talking and whispering and stuff, and I said, we were walking out, I said, I am literally so tired, and she goes, I am too. She goes, but like not mentally, like physically. She's like, I could have sat, because we sat in the hotel room for like 2 hours and talked, and like I did not do well tonight. We'll just say I'm off program, okay? And I have not been on program all week long. But Monday, I'm going back on program. So, there was no way eating 2+ meals a day at these restaurants that I was going to sit there and eat a little protein bar or whatever from Optavia. I just wasn't going to do it. So, yeah. So anyway, I'll be back on Monday. It is what it is. And I've had a good time this week doing it, and I don't regret it. So if I was going to participate in it, I was going to participate in it. You know what I mean? But anyway, we were walking out. She said, she's like, I could have sat in the hotel room for like another 2 hours and talked. She's like, it was so much fun. I was like, I know. We were all kind of sad at the end. It was weird. Like, I looked down, like, when our person won, like, I started crying, and like, I turned and I looked, and like, all the other 4 judges were crying too. Like, we were all crying. Like, because the girl won. We were just so excited about the whole thing. They were so nice. They came up, all of them, but the top 5 came up and thanked us, and they just were fantastic, you know? Some of the voices on these girls, my God, so good. So good. And it was hilarious, too, because not so much on our side, but like on the Miss side, so those are the older girls, they were like, we saw a bunch of baton twirling, and I'm telling you, girls that could twirl 3 and 4 batons at the same time, okay, on their necks and their elbows and going down into the splits. I mean, it was incredible. And then a couple flag and rifle routines, but mostly singing, mostly dancing. Oh my God, if I see one more tap, some of the tapping was incredible. It was absolutely incredible, but just a lot of it. There was just a lot of tapping. I was at the end of the camera, I didn't know that. But anyway, it was fun. I had such a blast. It was, I don't know, I was so impressed with the whole organization and being part of it and the way they treated us and the way they treated the contestants. I just thought the whole thing was done so well. I was so proud to be part of it, and just, it was just really a cool experience. And, you know, I think my goal in the next year is to start getting really involved in some stuff. And like deliberately picking out some things that I want to get really involved in, you know? Like on a small level, it's crazy. Like I was thinking about this when I was driving home. Like very much like Mel and I doing the book club and stuff is similar to that. But it's not ending, thank God. And by the way, Mel and I are supposed to be picking our book tonight, but Mel knew that I had the pageant this week. Because I was like, girl, I'm in the middle of a pageant. I can't be talking about this book right now. It's going to be about Son of Sam. We already know that. So anyway, but we just don't know what book it is. I got to call her tomorrow. But it's very similar to that. You know, like when you work closely with somebody and you build a bond and you build a relationship. I love Mel. The only thing I don't like is that we don't live in the same city. Or at least closer. You know, she lives far away from me, and I just wish I could go pick her up and go get coffee or go to the bookstore or the library or something, you know, or just drive around and talk, like. But we talk a lot, so. Hi, Mel, I love you. She knows that. Do you guys ever feel lonely? Do you ever feel like you don't really notice it until, like, you go and you participate in something, and then I remember watching this one. So I used to watch that TV show back in the day, My So-Called Life with Claire Danes. I loved that show. And there was an episode in there where the parents go out of town for the weekend, and they leave Claire Danes and her little sister behind, and they're like, now nobody can come over except for like one person, right? So she has like Rayanne McGrath over, who's like her wild friend, and Rayanne and like the boy from next door, Brian Krakow. I don't know how I remember all these people's names, but anyway. And like she chains herself, Rayanne handcuffs herself to the bed. Well, then she can't get out of the bed. So I should watch that show again. It's so good. I should watch. It's only like 2 seasons. And I have them all on DVD, but I'm sure you can get them online too. But anyway, she handcuffs herself to the bed. Well, they can't get her off. And they're trying to figure out all these ways to get her like out of this bed. And so it's like literally like 5 of them, right? Like Claire Danes, Rayanne, Brian Krakow, the girl she used to be friends with, and her new guy friend. So it's 5 of them and the little sister, right? And the whole weekend they're just like hanging out in this bedroom. The whole episode takes place in this bedroom, and they're having like it doesn't seem like it would be fun, but they're having a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Because it's like crazy, and they're trying to figure out, and like the sister sleeps in there like the whole week and the whole weekend, and then they're not allowed to like tell the parents, and like at the very end, like this girl comes in and saves the day and like gets her out of it, and then Rayanne leaves, and they're like cleaning up the house real quick, and then the parents walk in, and it's like nothing ever happened. And like at the very, very end, when Claire Danes is walking. I can't remember what her name is in the show. I don't know why I can't remember that. But when she's walking upstairs, her little sister's like, "Can we do this again next weekend, please? Can we hang out? Can you have them come over again next weekend?" Because she had so much fun, you know? And, like, I'm forever that kid. Like, I'm forever that person that... I don't know. I remember when Caroline's stepson and his wife got married, which we see them all the time, but... like, we stayed until, like, 9, but apparently they, like, stayed till, like, 11 or 12, everybody, and danced and stuff. And Caroline's son, David, how long have they been married now? He was probably in 8th grade, I would say. God, they've been married that, maybe longer. He was probably in 7th or 8th grade. Maybe 7th. And he had such a blast, right? He was in, they put him in the wedding and stuff because he was, you know, their half brother, and or his half brother, and so he was in the wedding, and like, he danced all night long, and they were running around, and he had such a good time. And Caroline called me, and she was like, you know, David had such a good time, and he got real emotional on the way home. And I was like, why? And she was like, he said, we never see people. We never have people over to our house. And, you know, I want to, like, can we have them all over and do it again, like, in 2 weeks? And Caroline was like, I didn't really know how to explain to him, like, you know, like, we do this for weddings and stuff like that, but we can try to maybe, like, have a barbecue and invite people over and stuff like that. But isn't that the sad thing? It's like, you can't repeat that stuff, you know? I don't know. But I'm glad I did it. I had a blast. It was so much fun. Somebody was like, did you get paid? I was like, no, I didn't get paid. I had a blast. It was so much fun. I wasn't caring about getting paid. It was an honor to be asked. But I bit the side of my mouth this week, you guys, like earlier in the week. And it is like, hurts. It is still so bad. And now, because it's like the whole side of my mouth is like out, I keep on biting it and biting it. It's driving me nuts. I can't tell you all these different outfits, so that's why I had to go buy the outfits the other day, because I had to have outfits to wear to this. That's why I was shopping for clothes. So I had some very business casual outfits. I had some dressy cocktail outfits, and I had a formal suit that I wore tonight. I think I'm going to post it on my Instagram tomorrow, because I haven't done that yet. But I will tell you what's funny is, and I cannot play it for you, but I did download it on iTunes, was that the girls' opening number was to Carly Rae Jepsen's new song, and I know the entire dance routine and everything at this point, as do all of us on my judging team. And we would do it like in the van and stuff. I would like play the song and we would like do it. It's so funny. And then we would like sit at the table. We were like doing we knew the whole routine by heart because we had seen it so many times by the end of the week. It was so much fun. Aww. I kind of, as tired as I am, I kind of wish I was getting up and doing it again tomorrow. I will tell you that those contestants, those girls, looked exhausted tonight. Because they brought them back, you know, all of them, they bring them back and forth in like this huge bus, like from the hotel to like the Performing Arts Center. When they were coming back with like their families and stuff, they were like, you could tell, and like the bus, whatever, like they were exhausted. But they've been doing this for like, they came on Sunday, so they've been doing it for like an entire week. We did it. Oh, we did something on Tuesday too. What did I do on Tuesday? Because I couldn't do, oh, Tuesday evening was, because I couldn't go to the meeting on Tuesday. And Tanya wasn't going anyway. But you know what's funny is I could have ended up going to the meeting. Tanya, no. So Tanya wasn't going to the meeting that night, but I could have ended up going because we got out of there early enough. I went and did orientation for the thing. I think it was like from 4 to 6:30. It's like it was something like that. I can't remember what the time was actually now. I had totally even forgotten that we had done that. That was Tuesday afternoon. It seems like so long ago. It's been such a long week. It's been so much fun. Do you guys participate in stuff? I'm always sad when it's over, you know? And people are like, well, you could do it again next year. No, you really can't. Not with this one. You can only judge so many years, every so many years. So my participation in this is over for a while. And, you know, it's like I did that video the other day and I was talking all about endings and things endings, and I think that that's what really motivated me talking about it that night when I said I was like really emotional. I think that, like, in retrospect, looking back a couple days ago, is like I was in the middle of having such a great time that I was like, I'm gonna be really upset when this is gonna be over. Like, I really think that's where that emotionality stemmed from that day. That I was like, I'm gonna be really upset. Like, I think I already knew it, you know, and I was just kind of like trying to enjoy the moment. Like, I did such a great job this week of just like living in the present and just like enjoying the moment and everything like that. This guy literally just went and stood, like, I'm like, it is dark, right? And this is by a strip mall, and he went and just like stood behind this bush when I'm like driving over here. Like, he rushed real quick and stood behind this bush. Well, I'm going the other way anyway, buddy, so. And I don't really ever, here's the other thing too, you know, it's like, well, I guess I need to make more friends. Where do you find them? You know what I mean? It's not like there's eHarmony for friends, although there should be. And then it's like, I don't really know. I could put so much of this on. I don't really know what I want to get involved in. You know, like, Alex gets asked to do so many things, and he'll see something and he'll be like, I'm gonna go do this volunteer thing, or I'm gonna do, I mean, he's so good at that, and he loves everything. Like, he participates in everything. And Alex and Caroline are two people that, like, they are the world's biggest networkers. Like, if you need something fixed, they know who to call. If you need this, they know where to find it. You know what I mean? Like, they're so good with that kind of stuff. So, like, you know, people are constantly asking Alex to do stuff because, like, he's very active, like, in Indianapolis, and people know him, but I'm not. So I don't really get asked to do a lot of stuff, so I would have to seek it out. And I don't really know how to do that, you know? And I guess before I didn't really care. But now what I realized is it's kind of missing from my life. And I think it would be a good way for me to meet people, would be to be involved in something, you know? And I don't know what that means. I just know I liked being around people, and I don't know, maybe I'm lonelier than I thought I was. But I will say that I've also been, at times, you know, like, somebody said this to me years ago, and it so resonated with me. They said, I'm lonelier in a group of people than I am by myself. And I feel that sometimes, you know? So, I don't know, like, the thing is, like, a week ago, had you asked me, like, are you lonely? I would have said no. Like, I don't feel lonely at all. I'm with the dogs all day long, and I talk on the phone to my friends, and, you know, I see Tanya, and for a fountain Coke, or I drive by the kennel during the day, and then when Alex gets home in the evening, like, we'll have dinner, or we hang out in bed, or, you know, little date night things, or whatever, you know, married folk stuff. And, I mean, but no, like, you know, we'll just sit there and talk and plan trips, and how was your day, and tell me something special about your day, and, you know, we have conversations about stuff. And, I would have said, no, I'm not lonely at all. I used to say this, do this thing. Okay, the battery died, so I had to replace it. Can I just tell you what is so cute? Is that over here is this little pond, and there are, like, tons of ducks sleeping over there. It's so sweet. Anyway, I used to, like, do this analogy back in the day, and, like, I would ask friends, and it was about this girl named Darlene, right? Okay, so, and I know a lot of people disagree with me, but just go along with me for a second. So Darlene lives in a small town, right? And she works at a Speedway gas station. she comes home every night, and, you know, she's got her boyfriend, Bud, and they're pretty happy, you know? And she comes home from work, and he's sitting there watching a football game with his friend, and she makes herself a bologna sandwich and sits out, you know, back with a beer and natural light, and she calls her friend on the phone, and they chit-chat for, you know, and it's a warm summer evening, and then she goes inside, she reads her book, watches her little Netflix until Bud's friend leaves, and then he comes to bed, and they talk, and she's happy, you know? She's happy. She likes the Speedway. People are nice to her. They depend on her, you know? She's got a good life. Then Darlene's Aunt Judith, let's say, right? Not Judy Smith, but Judith. Aunt Judith, I don't know what her last name would be, but I was going to make it something, you know, real uppity, like Westminster or something. Is that uppity enough? Her Aunt Judith Westminster is an artist who lives in Paris by way of London, by way of New York, by way of San Francisco. And so she invites Darlene to come and stay with her for a couple weeks in Paris. So Darlene goes and she stays with her aunt, Judith Westminster, in Paris for 6 weeks, let's say. She goes to the south of France on this little, you know, week trip, and she comes back and she sees things. She sees museums and fashion and little coffee shops. And she's exposed to an entirely different world, you know? Books and people that see something in her that she doesn't even see in herself. And all of a sudden, you know, people are noticing the spark in her, and a whole new group of people see it. And she's seen interest in herself that she never even knew that she had, because she'd never been exposed to things, right? So then Darlene comes back and she goes to her same town, works at the Subway again. She comes home to, you know, bologna sandwich, natural light, and Bud. Is Darlene happy? That's the question. That's the scruples question. Well, it's an interesting question, right? Because the thing is that Darlene was happy. Like I said, she was happy before, right? But now she's been exposed to a new world. Does she compare her old world to her new world that she was exposed to? Or are they mutually exclusive? Sometimes you don't know what you're missing until you're shown it, you know? Sometimes you don't realize what you need until you see that you haven't had it. And I think that, like, one thing I haven't really had other than in a 12-step program, in all honesty, and except for the team that I worked with. I was telling Alex about this tonight. I said, you know, this judges panel really reminded me of the team that I worked with, you know, for years and years in treatment. Like, we were so close, and that's kind of, we got real close. I mean, not that close, but we got real close this week, you know? And, so anyway, you know, it's all perception, I think. How happy is Darlene? Maybe she can't wait to get back to her small town life, you know? Maybe that's what's comfortable to her and safe, and she likes it. Maybe there's a part of her that can't wait to move out of there and go to Paris, and she's like, this is not what I need, you know? Who knows? There's our group text is going. Somebody just texted me right now. I can see that it says 2019 judges. But I can't see anything else other than that. It's all perspective, right? It's all how we look at the world and what we, you know, how we think about it, and how we define happiness. And I don't know, maybe I didn't really realize how much I need people in my life. You know, it's a kid that's been an only child growing up and didn't really have a lot of friends anyway. Do you hear this flooding, you guys? Like, the rain is ridiculous in Indianapolis. But as somebody that grew up as an only child and then, you know, didn't have a lot of friends, when I was drinking and drugging and stuff like that, like, I had a big group of friends, but they were all acquaintances of people that I knew at bars. They weren't, the majority of them weren't people that I probably, you know, have over to my house or hang out or go out to dinner with. They're just people that I knew, you know what I mean? But they seemed important to me at the time. But ever since then, I've always had a small group of friends, just like, 3 or 4 friends max. Like Melissa and Jason are like great friends of ours, but we're the kind of friends where like 3 weeks can go by, and if I don't talk to Melissa in 3 or 4 weeks, like we're completely fine. But we're not those friends that go, God, I haven't heard from you in 3. We're never like that with each other. We just pick up where we left off, But she's busy, I'm busy, Jason's busy, Alex is busy, and so we get together and we go have lunch, we make plans to do something, and, but like, she's a dear, dear friend. I love Melissa, and I love Jason, and, but life gets busy. I don't know. I guess maybe I need people more than, maybe not in a codependent kind of way, but like maybe I need people in my life more than I allow people in, because I'm just so used to it by not having a whole lot of people in my life, you know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, at this point, I'm just kind of rambling, so I think I'm going to get off here. And I have turned around and I am heading home now, and I cannot wait to get my contacts out so that I can go to sleep for the evening. And it is Sunday, and I'm going to be going to have brunch with my husband, and then I will be back on program. So, I hope you guys are having a fantastic Sunday. I will be rested tomorrow and ready to give you guys a longer vlog. I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday, unless you have other plans, but don't. Enjoy it. Sunday's my favorite day of the week, if you didn't know. I love Sundays. I love that it's just about relaxing and hanging out and brunch and, sleeping in and preparing for the week ahead. There's something that I like about preparing for the week ahead. I don't know what it is, but anyway, I enjoy it. And, yeah, so, I hope you're having an amazing Sunday, unless you have other plans, but don't, like I said. Just have a great day. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. We all need to hear that every day. Practice saying it to yourself in the mirror so that you can hear it and believe it from yourself. The rain just started again. Can you hear it? And pass it on to somebody else. It's really, really important. I hope at least one of you is doing this every day when I say it. I hope at least one of you out there, because then if you're doing it, then maybe that person that you're doing it to is passing it on, and then we can start a love train. Just by saying to somebody, hey, I love you. We're so afraid of that word, aren't we? Like, we will say such negative words to people, but we're afraid to say I love you. Some of us even say, oh, I don't say that. I take that too seriously, or I wait a certain amount of time to say it. But we'll say something to somebody nasty. We'll say mean, cruel things to somebody with quickness, but we won't tell them that we love them, We're so afraid of that word. Anyway, I'm not afraid of it. I love you. If nobody else has told you that today, we each need to hear that every day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.